Pregame.com.
Big matchup taking place this week in Norman, Oklahoma. Finds Notre Dame at the Oklahoma Sooners. Hey, everybody. Welcome to Pregame.tv. This is Tony Sinisi's free pick, by the way. And, Tony, I wanted to start out by saying, here's Notre Dame, undefeated, climbing up everybody's public polls, the BCS, the whole thing. They opened up a 9.5-point underdog late Sunday when the line came out against the Sooners. It's climbed as high as 12 in some shops. Most shops have it at 11.5. The public's been a little on Oklahoma, about 56% of the tickets written thus far. But it seems like that respected money coming in one way on the Sooners so far. Yeah, and I saw this as line maker. People have short memories, and Notre Dame struggling with BYU last week, that puts a little stench in your Notre Dame thinking. Conversely, on the Oklahoma side, they really look like they're rolling. 2 weeks ago against Texas, that was a demolition job. Last week against Kansas, they did what they should do against the Charlie Weiss, the disaster of a KU squad. And boy, there's this story for another day. How he got that job, I'll never know. It's a good thing they fired Turner Gill, huh? It was so much better this year.
Yeah. But it's kind of strange. This deep into the year, this is only Notre Dame's second true road game. They played at Wrigley Field, but other than I believe they played Michigan State early in the year. They've been living on the home cooking, so this is kind of uncharted waters, and they're going into a tough venue.
It's going to be really tough. That's a very difficult place to play. I've been there a couple of times back in the day, and back in the old Big 8 days, by the way. But I wanted to mention in this one, what Tony said, the way they destroyed Texas surprised me. It did, because I looked at what they did against Texas Tech, and the score said Oklahoma 41, Texas Tech 20. But if you dove into the drive charts, you saw where Oklahoma had 75 yards of offense over their final 26 plays. Did nothing over most of the second half against the Texas Tech Red Raiders. But as he just said, they wipe out Texas. They do what they should against the Kansas Jayhawks. And, Marco, the bottom line is, though, for me, is if Landry Jones doesn't have a running game around him, it's a beatable football team. Can Notre Dame live on their defense again? I know that's going to be Golson going at quarterback, and they've struggled offensively. They're going to have to live on their defense, I think, and frustrate Landry Jones if they're going to hang in this game.
Well, they've got a defense that can do that, and I've never seen an undefeated team getting bashed as much as Notre Dame is this week. I mean, everybody's, anybody that thought Notre Dame was going to blow out BYU last week, they don't look at situational handicapping at all. Notre Dame was coming off 2 weeks ago. They played Miami, as you said, at Soldier Field. That was a big game, going to Chicago and blowing out Miami. I know Miami's not the team that they used to be, but it's still the name, and there was a lot of history between Notre Dame and Miami from the glory days. Then they play Stanford, their annual rivalry game that goes to overtime on a controversial play in overtime to win that game. And then they got BYU coming into town with this game on deck. They had to be looking ahead to Oklahoma. They're undefeated, going on the road to play at Oklahoma. This is going to be the game that legitimizes them as a contender for a national title. Do people forget that just a month ago, everybody was down on Oklahoma, saying this was the same old Oklahoma team? Bob Stoops can't win a big game.
You know what part of that might be, though? Remember the loss to Kansas State? Everybody was shocked. Kansas State's a pretty good football team. That has a little bit more meaning to it now.
It has a little bit more meaning for it. But just what you said, take that one step further. These three teams that they've rolled since then, look at them. Their stock's not gone up. Texas now, their defense is terrible. They can't stop anybody all of a sudden. And Texas was supposed to have the best defense in the Big 12 this year. So their stock has gone down, and don't even talk about Kansas. I think this is public perception too much here. I think this line is overinflated, in my opinion.
The line was, I guess, short of where it should be when you consider where it's gone. I mean, that's what's the funny thing about it. But I understand completely what you're saying. But, Tony, this ain't the Hiawatha Francisco versus Elvis Peacock days. It's not the heyday, so to speak. But the bottom line is, when I look at Notre Dame, I think 7-5 talent being coached like crazy right now by a fantastic coach in Brian Kelly. This is your free pick, Notre Dame and Oklahoma.
On the Notre Dame side, I think they do have a blueprint on how to win this game, and I think Kansas State gave them that blueprint. They really have to run the ball, control the clock, shorten the game. Everett Golson returns this week for Notre Dame, but this is a different animal in Oklahoma. And I think what impresses me more about Oklahoma than all the points that they're scoring is what they did to that Texas offense. You can talk all you want about Texas defense, and believe me, that is an absolute disaster. But Texas offensively is a really, really talented team, and Oklahoma dominated them. They really did. I don't see Notre Dame moving the ball very well against against the Oklahoma defense. Conversely, there's only one way for Notre Dame to win and cover this game, and that's to run the ball and shorten the game. I think Oklahoma has a lot of different ways to win this game. Too much defense, too much offense. I think the Irish their winning streak ends here, and I think it ends badly. I like Oklahoma to cover.
The lines maker has spoken. He says take the Oklahoma Sooners, his free pick, minus the points over Notre Dame. And when we come back, we've got more college football. We're going to go to Lincoln, Nebraska for my best bet, the matchup between Michigan and the Nebraska Cornhuskers. Stick around right here at pregame.tv.